Hello everyone, today is day 70 of A Course in Miracles, so lesson 70 is what we're on today. So I'm going to read out the lesson as always, and if you haven't heard of this course or you want the information, then links as always are under this video. So today what we're asked to remember all today is my salvation comes from me. My salvation comes from me and me alone. That's what we have to realise. That's the only place we're going to be saved. Right, so here we go. All temptation is nothing more than some form of the basic temptation not to believe the idea for today. Salvation seems to come from anywhere except from you. So too does the source of guilt. You see neither guilt nor salvation as in your own mind and nowhere else. When you realize that all guilt is solely an invention of your mind, you also realize that guilt and salvation must be in the same place. In understanding this, you are saved. The seeming cost of accepting today's idea is this. It means that nothing outside of yourself can save you, nothing outside yourself can give you peace, but it also means that nothing outside yourself can hurt you or disturb your peace or upset you in any way. Today's idea places you in charge of the universe, where you belong because of what you are. This is not a role that can be partially accepted, and you must surely begin to see that accepting it is salvation. So it is quite a big one to wrap our minds around today, that anything that we, if we want to have peace, if we want to let go of the guilt, it all comes from within to do that. We can't, fix the outside world and expect to feel these things of peace and joy and where we want to be. When we're putting all that emphasis externally and making the meaning out of all of those things out of us, we're suffering because we're going to the wrong source. The source is within, where we can transcend our world and the world at large. So, yes, a really big one to wrap our mind around and get out of these illusions that we've been living in for so long. It may not, however, be clear to you why the recognition that guilt is in your own mind entails the realization that salvation is there as well. God would not have put the remedy for the sickness where it cannot help. That is the way your mind has worked, but hardly his. He wants you to be healed, so he has kept the source of healing where the need for healing lies. You have tried to do just the opposite, making every attempt, however distorted and fantastic it might be, to separate healing from the sickness for which it was intended, and thus keep the sickness. Your purpose was to ensure that healing did not occur. God's purpose was to ensure that it did. Like, how insane are we? It's like we're running from love. We're just running from it. Like, no, it's over here. No, it's got to be this way. What about up there or down here? No, it's in here. We keep running from the source of it is. We're living madness. We really are. So today we practice realizing that God's will and ours are really the same in this. God wants us to be healed, and we do not really want to be sick because it makes us unhappy. Therefore, in accepting the idea for today, we are really in agreement with God. He does not want us to be sick, neither do we. He wants us to be healed, so do we. We are ready for 2 longer practice periods today, each of which should last some 10 to 15 minutes. We will, however, still let you decide when to undertake them. We will follow this practice for a number of lessons, and it would again be well to decide in advance when would be a good time to lay aside for each of them, and then adhering to your own decisions as closely as possible. Okay, so we're asked to add another one now. So instead of just the 1 15-minute period that we set a specific time to, it's asking us now to set 2. So you could do the one in the morning and the one on the evening. Have 15 minutes on the morning and then 15 minutes on the evening to really absorb these practices. So begin this practice period by repeating the idea for today, adding a statement signifying your recognition that salvation comes from nothing outside of you. You might put it this way. My salvation comes from me. It cannot come from anywhere else. Then devote a few minutes with your eyes closed to reviewing some of the external places where you have looked for salvation in the past, in other people, in possessions, in various situations and events, and in self-concepts that you sought to make real. Recognize that this is not there and tell yourself, my salvation cannot come from any of these. My salvation comes from me and only from me. Okay, so we're beginning by saying to start the period by repeating today's idea, my salvation comes from me, so repeating that and say it cannot come from anywhere else, getting that first into our mind. Then we're searching with our eyes closed for the external places where we have looked to be free, where we've looked for it in a partner, we've looked for it in a job, we've looked for it in becoming a parent, whatever it is that you've tried to find that salvation, that peace. Realize this, my salvation cannot come from any of these things. My salvation comes from me and only me. Now we will try again to reach the light in you, which is where your salvation is. You cannot find it in the clouds that surround the light, and it is in them you have been looking for it. It is not there. It is past the clouds and in the light beyond. Remember that you will have to go through the clouds before you can reach the light. But remember also that you have never found anything in the cloud patterns you imagined that endured or that you wanted. Since all illusions of salvation have failed you, surely do you not want to remain in the clouds looking vainly for idols there when you could so easily walk on into the light of real salvation? Try to pass the clouds by whatever means appeals to you. If it helps you, think of me holding your hand and leading you, and I assure you this will be no idle fantasy. Right, so once we've done the first repeating the idea to ourselves, so it's in the mind, then acknowledging the situations in our lives where we've tried to find salvation and saying that nope, it only comes from me, not from things outside of me. Then we're asked to go again past those clouds of grievances and past the clouds that are distorting what we think, that we think the salvation is in the clouds. So we're looking in those clouds. We need to walk through them so we can get into the light. And that's what it's saying, allow that light. So we've got to sort of, it's dropping all of these ideas and meanings, letting them all just fly to the side, so that then, it clears the way for the light to shine. So that's what these long practice periods are asking us to do today. And then for the short and frequent practice periods today, remind yourself that your salvation comes from you, and nothing but your thoughts can hamper your progress. You are free from all external interference. You are in charge of your salvation. You are in charge of the salvation of the world. Say then, my salvation comes from me. Nothing outside of me can hold me back. Within me is the world's salvation and my own. Wow, it's a big one, isn't it, to take on? Like, to think that by saving yourself, you're saving the world. We are powerful beings, and by doing this, we are creating such a massive shift outside when we do the work inside. So yes, really, really do your best to kind of take on board what this lesson is really trying to get you to become clear about in your mind. It's that you are saved. Inside, go inside and you're saved. Follow those steps beyond the clouds to meet the light, which is inside. And just trust and have faith, as I said yesterday, that you're going to get there. You're going to get to that light, that it's there. It is there. It's not an illusion. Your mind wants, don't be silly. This is like rubbish. This is the real life. This is what it really is. There's no such thing as a light. Just blah, 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 blah. That's like that alluring, trying to keep you still asleep. You've got to really go in and say, no, I know that there is light within me and I will seek it. I will go to it. I know it's there. I have faith I will find it, and I'm going in towards it. And just see what unfolds. See what unfolds for you when you do this and finding a quiet space. I always think, find a time when you can really dedicate these 15 minutes where you can really get into a quieting of the mind, because we really do need to get the mind in that quiet place so that we can do these practices with much more success. You know, we're going to get there when we're able to calm the mind down. If we're trying to do it in a busy situation and the mind's going, you know, you're going to get distracted with another thought, and before you know it, you're taken off, and you've just rushed through the practice and like, it didn't work, that one. No, it's like, make this a priority. Make this really important to your day. You want to find peace. You want to find joy and happiness. And God wants us to be happy. Love, the energy of the universe, wants us to be happy. That's what it's created us for being. It's like it's like, what's going on? It's probably thinking, but no, it's not, that's the ego saying that. Love is just like, I see you as beautiful no matter what you're doing, whether you're doing this, that, and the other. You are my creation. I love you. Just come back. Realize that's what you are. That's what we need to do. So, yeah, as I said today, my salvation comes from me. That's the one to keep in mind. And we'll be back tomorrow as we progress on to lesson 71. See you all then. Take care. Bye.